Hello and welcome to Workshop Wednesday, episode 3. Still working on the club suite with Liam behind me. In this episode, we're going to look at doing the water system for the injector. Probably going to focus on the clack manifold. So what I've got two brand new inline clacks and some brass square. Plan is the existing clack that's coming out of the boiler. Take the ball out of that, so it's just going to act like a right angled elbow. There'll be a short bit of pipe coming down out of that, which will then be silver soldered into the bronze, and then brass. Sorry, and underneath there'll be the two new clack valves will sit underneath, which then go off to axle pump and the new injector. So, the plan for today is try and get this manifold all made up. So. I have to drill the two holes in it and drill and tap the two holes for the two new clacks. Drill the single hole at the top to silver solder in the new bit of pipe. Cut it to length, bore down the middle, and also make a blanking plug up where I'll have to bore in to join everything together. So yeah, that's the plan. I guess we'll get started. Okay, so the clacks are 3/8 by 32. So we'll need to drill two holes in this and tap it for 3/8 by 32. So I reckon we could get away with making this. I'm going to make this 40mm long. Yeah, so let's mark this up at 40mm. So we draw a line right there. So that's our length. That's the total length of the new manifold. So what's the diameter of these in metric? I should know. So these are about 9.5mm diameter. So in which case, let's call it 10. So if I'm going to measure in 6mm and 6mm and see what that looks like. So if we put that, centre that on there, I need to go further than that. I don't like that. So let's try 10mm. See what 10mm looks like. 10mm in. 10mm in, because that'll leave. Again, this is all sort of. I'm doing this trial and error. Let me take that off. That one off. So we line that one up roughly like that. Line that one up roughly like that. And I'm looking at that, and that looks pretty good like that. I'm happy with that. And then the pipe on the other side, do that at 20mm, so it comes out in the centre. I'm happy with how that looks. So, need to find the halfway point of this. Let's have a little look. We are a bit of crap on my ruler. So this is half-inch bar. So in which case, we'll measure it at 1/4. So there. There. So we've got our two centre points there, where we're going to need we've got the two centre points for the holes. So just grab a hammer. So got a hammer, centre punch. And we'll just centre punch the holes, ready for drilling. We've got the two centre points marked. I'm probably going to drill these probably 8.5mm to then tap them out. I'll start with the pilot drill first because I've got to make sure I don't go all the way through. So I'm going to go about halfway into this. So, but I'll move you closer to the drill so you can actually see the drilling action. Right, okay, so stick the material into the drill vise, like so. I'm going to then get the little pot of drills here, what we got, that'll do for now. So, reasonably small drill bit just to start it off. So we'll stick that in there. Cool, so we've got 2 pilot holes. Can you see that in there? Yeah. 2 pilot holes drilled. They're not quite even, but I haven't got a mill. Ideally, I would have a mill so I can set it up perfectly straight and just move the mill across and be perfectly parallel. Okay, so got the 8.5mm drill bit in the drill now, so I'm just going to open those holes up to 8.5, ready for tapping. Right, so got the 2 holes opened up to 8.5mm. So plan now is tap these for 3/832 to accept the clacks. Once that's done, I'll turn the bar over 180 and drill the centre hole, 1/4 inch, take 1/4 inch pipe. Once all that's done, I'll cut it off, then we'll take it over to the lathe, chuck it in the 4-jaw, centre drill all the way down, face them off nicely, and then we can make the cap to go on the end. Okay, so got the 3/8x32 starting tap in the tap wrench. Going to run that through as far as it will go, take that out, and then I've got final tap, which I'll put down. So we'll run these through. Hopefully you can see this. And also hopefully I get this nice and straight. Right, so I've got the holes drilled and tapped. The clacks are in. They're not straight because I've done it manually. If I had access to a mill, I could have got the tap perfectly at 90 degrees, perfectly straight. But unfortunately, I haven't got access to a mill. But I'm not worried too much because functionally it will work. It'll look a bit strange from the side of the engine, but where it's going to be hidden, it'll be under the saddle tank. Not many people are going to see it under there, let's be honest, unless they're really looking. And if it is really a problem, I've got plenty of material, I can make some more. But I think I'm going to leave it as it is for now, stick it on the Loco, see what it looks like, and go from there. So the next step is, in the top, drill a 1/4 inch hole down so that we can silver solder in a bit of copper pipe, which will then have a union on the end of it, which will connect up to the existing clack on the boiler. Before I do any of the silver soldering, I'll need to stick it into the lathe, face off everything, coat's length, face it off, and centre drill down the middle, so I can connect all the passages up. Then we can look at making the blanking plug. So next step, I'll take these off, go back over to the drill, and I will drill a 1/4 inch hole down the top, and then it'll be lathe time. So yeah, let's get on with it. So we've got the 1/4 inch hole now there, and then you've got your two 3/8 holes there. So the plan is, I'll cut it to length with a hacksaw. Probably won't film that because it's going to be loud and noisy. But once it's cut to length, I'll take her over to the lathe and we will machine it up in the lathe. Right, okay, so got material in the lathe in the 4-jaw chuck. It's not perfectly centered, but it's centered enough. So next step, just need to face off the end. It's pretty good, but I need to just finish it off. Then drill a hole down the center, which will then tap one end for the blanking plug, then flip it around, face off the other end, and yeah, time to face. Right, so got the part off the lathe. We've got the hole drilled all the way through now. That's been tapped for 5/16, so I can make a blanking plug up to go in there. We've got a hole in the top for the 1/4 inch pipe to go out to the clack, and we've got the 2 holes at the bottom for the clack. So the next step will be to machine up a blanking plug. So I'll have a hunt around for some material for a blanking plug. So I've been through my collection of bits and pieces, and I happen to have found this blanking plug. It's already tapped for, or it's already threaded 5/16. So all I'm going to do, machine down the thread slightly because it's too long at the moment. Machine the head down slightly, give it a bit of a clean up, and then that'll go straight into the end there. So I'll time lapse this one. I'm going to jump back on the lathe, machine that down, and catch you in a bit. Okay, so I've machined that blanking plug down. So it is now, well, yeah, there you go. It's now a nice, it's quite a tight fit at the moment because I need to run a die down the threads to clean threads up. But it goes in there quite nicely, and I think that looks quite good. So together with the clack valves, we just wind the clack valves in. Again, I'll probably have to run a little, run a die down them, clean them up a bit, but yeah. That's our manifold. So the next step is going to be to silver solder pipe in the top. Right, so got my block, I've got a bit of copper pipe. So they go together quite nicely in that. So the plan is we'll put some silver solder flux around that, and we'll silver solder that in. That's what I'm going to call this episode. In the next episode, we'll do the rest of it. So I'll get that silver soldered up, get a bit of silver solder flux onto the, I'm using an old drill bit at the moment, but pop the flux around the pipe. This stuff dried out a little bit, but it'll still be okay. slowly press that into place. Just make sure, looking down the end, that it hasn't poked through or anything like that. So now what we'll do, we'll take the blow lamp, have a bit of a shake because it's a bit cold at the moment, so hopefully, there we go. So apply heat to it. We want to try and get it to a nice sort of cherry red colour, and then we can add the add the solder, sorry, to the join. This is probably going to take quite a bit of heat because it's quite a large block to heat up. Right, so got it silver soldered. I've put the clack back on and the blanking plug. So if I try and blow through it, I can't. Obviously there's no PTFE on the threads or anything, so it's probably still leaking a little bit. So if I now take you over to the Loco, I will show you where it's going to sit. So here we are at the Loco. So that's the existing clack valve there, with the pipe going to the axle pump. This new one is going to sit pretty much just like that. As you can see, I really didn't get that left-hand clack on very straight, but there's not much I can do about that now. I think, to be honest with you, it looks okay. So yeah, that's how that's going to sit. I'll have to remake that. This pipe here, I think I'm going to have to remake, potentially turn that block 90 degrees and have the pipe come out like that and in. But yeah, thank you all for watching. In the next episode, we'll carry on with making this manifold up. So we need to cut the pipe down to length, silver solder on the union cone and the union nut. We'll then look at rerouting the actual pump pipe work, as well as starting the pipe work for the steam injector. If you have enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, leave a comment below if you have any feedback or anything you would have done differently. Hopefully the camera angles will work in and that you at least found it somewhat entertaining to watch, or maybe informative, I don't know. So yeah, see you in the next video.